develop lifelong leadership skills. Take a closer look at Rollins, and you'll realize our beauty runs deep. Everyone from the Princeton Review to Condé Nast Traveler regularly ranks Rollins as one of America's most beautiful college campuses. Zoom in though. Take for example our conference-style learning environment. Consider the dozens of high-end laboratories and collaborative workshops. Drop in on the professional performance venues where our student artists hone their crafts. Stroll by the courts and playing fields where our student athletes develop lifelong leadership skills. Take a closer look at Rollins, and you'll realize our beauty runs deep. Everyone from the Princeton Review to Condé Nast Traveler regularly ranks Rollins as one of America's most beautiful college campuses. Zoom in though. Take for example our conference-style learning environment. Consider the dozens of high-end laboratories and collaborative workshops. Drop in on the professional performance venues where our student artists hone their crafts. Stroll by the courts and playing fields where our student athletes develop lifelong leadership skills. Take a closer look at Rollins, and you'll realize our beauty runs deep. Everyone from the Princeton Review to Condé Nast Traveler regularly ranks Rollins as one of America's most beautiful college campuses. Zoom in though. Take, for example, our conference-style learning environment. Consider the dozens of high-end laboratories and collaborative workshops. Drop in on the professional performance venues where our student artists hone their crafts. Stroll by the courts and playing fields where our student athletes develop lifelong leadership skills. Take a closer look at Rollins, and you'll realize our beauty runs deep.
Good afternoon. Welcome back into Worden Arena. It is game 2 of a Sunshine State doubleheader. Rollins College Tars versus the Florida Southern College Mocs. First game, the women of Rollins College took a defeat 78-61 to the women's team of Florida Southern College, and the men's will look to avenge that loss. The Rollins College team coming in with an 8-8 overall record. The Florida Southern College Mocs coming in with a 13-3 record, and they possess the number 22 rank in the national rankings for D2 college basketball. I'm Adrian Donnelly, joined today by my partner, Mike Warren. Mike, Rollins is on a bit of a skid. They've lost 4 games in a row. They have not able to get a victory in the 2019 calendar year. Who is the player that Rollins needs to key on to in order to break this losing streak?
Well, today, and since it's going to be Jonathan Lawton taking a seat with an injury, Rollins is going to have to focus on Brett Hansen. This kid can put the ball in the basket, plain and simple, averaging around 16.8 points per game. He's also the team's leading rebounder with 7.5 per game. It's going to be a game of pace, and whoever can control the pace will win this game.
National anthem and starting lineups coming up very shortly here at Worden Arena. The tip-off will be right following after that. Stay tuned. 4 p.m. tip-off coming right up on the TAR Sports Network.
Florida Southern Moccasins and your Rollins College Tars. Rollins College and members of the Sunshine State Conference are committed to the principles of good sportsmanship. We believe all student athletes, coaches, administrators, and spectators should strive to represent the very best spirit and tradition of intercollegiate athletics. We ask to support the participants and the officials in a positive manner at all times. At this time, we ask that you all please rise as we honor our nation and remember our men and women serving around the world with the playing of our national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. here at Rollins College and the Sunshine State Conference. Thank you for your service. And now, let's meet the participants for today's game. First, Phil Moccasins of Florida Southern.
Starting lineups being announced right now for the two teams. Florida Southern, the first to be announced. A late scratch was a surprise to everybody in the gym. Guard Jonathan Lawton, the senior leading scorer for the Florida Southern Mocs, is out tonight with an apparent injury. Lawton was averaging 21.3 points per game. He was a top 3 scorer in the Sunshine State Conference, but he is missing tonight's game. Taking his place is DeAndre Campbell, the guard, freshman guard out of Chesterfield, Missouri, handling the backcourt duties along with Brett Hansen, the junior guard out of Manchester, New Hampshire. Jack Roush, Slinky Jones, and Ben Marello, the other 3 players that will round out the starting 5 for head coach Mike Donnelly's squad. Donnelly is in his 4th season with the Florida Southern Mocs. His 16th career coaching year. He's 250 victories, 203 defeats in the 16-year career of Coach Mike Donnelly. And he's facing off against head coach Tom Klusman in his 38th season. Klusman 701 career victories. Picked up number 700 on December 7th in a victory against Palm Beach Atlantic. His starting 5 looks very familiar that the Tars have run out in the last 4 games. Trevor Riccio, Daniel Lowe, the 2 forwards for tonight. Eric Castaneda, Connor McKim, 2 of the guards, along with Jacoby Bonner rounding out the top 5. Bonner, the leading scorer still for the Tars. He's averaging down. His average has dropped slightly since conference plays began, but he's still averaging a very, very talented 15.2 points per game. Riccio and Castaneda entered the starting lineup in the middle of January, and that lineup has stayed true. Parker Davis was a starting guard for several months as the season came underway, but he has taken his spot as one of the 6th men on the bench.
You know, often we talk about Jacoby Bonner and how much he has to carry the scoring load tonight, but I'm really looking forward to Eric Castaneda catching fire. Finally, let's hope he can hit his stride this game. He had his career high against this team, the second matchup of last season, dropping 34 points on 11 of 14 shooting from the field. Just an all-around dominant performance last time. They hope that they can get him free from 3 tonight, and he's been carrying the ball, bringing the ball up a lot for the Tars lately, trying to orient him in the offense as much as possible. We're just about ready to get underway here at Warden Arena.
Castaneda, the 6'4 senior, missed the first 5 games due to injury as the season began. He returned to action on November the 28th against Embry-Riddle, and Rollins has gone 3-8 since he's been back on the floor. As we get ready to tip, it's Daniel Lowe against Slinky Jones, and Rollins the first to possess. They're wearing their home white uniforms. Florida Southern, the Road Reds. Castaneda and Riccio up top. Back cut from Bonner. It's a handoff to Kim.
Florida Southern starts out in that man-to-man defense early.
Pays off an early turnover. Picked off Jack Roush. DeAndre Campbell, the backup point guard, forced into starting duties with the injury to Jonathan Lawton, handles the ball. Inside to Roush. A quick give and go, and it's a block. McKim from the backside, the short guard with the first block of the game.
Connor McKim being very sneaky, getting the big-time block for the small point guard.
He's known for his skill. He's known for his steals. He gets a rare block. A strong first possession for Rollins. Riccio thought about the 3. Castaneda drives, cut off by Marello. Back cut Riccio, took some contact, and a foul is called.
And that's a strong take there from Trevor Riccio, getting inside of that paint, taking his man right to the rack, realizing he can get his first step by him. A little bit of a late call, so the official right in front of us makes the play, or makes the call rather.
Calls on Jack Roush, the 6'7 junior forward out of Syracuse, New York. First team foul of the half. Riccio converts on the first.
Riccio just a 88% free throw shooter on the season.
Well, he shot 100% on those 2, and Rollins takes a 2-0 lead. Just over a minute into the first half at Warden Arena. Adrian Donnelly with Mike Warren, a very crowded gym today.
You can feel the intensity from the fans. The women's game, it was jumping in this arena.
Jones lets a three fly, and the first shot is up and good for the Mocs, and they are out to a 3-2 lead.
And Slinky Jones is that modern day stretch four. He can shoot the three a little bit, post you up, do a little bit of everything. He's really good in transition as well.
Jones, a D1 transfer from Quinnipiac. Riccio from three, rims out low, good for the offensive rebound, kicks back out to reset to Castaneda.
And the Tars are going to need Daniel Lowe to play big all day. They need him to rebound the basketball if they want to stand a chance against this high-powered Florida Southern offense.
Castaneda finds Riccio. Lowe lines one up from the top of the key, and he's good. Mike, that looked good out of his hand.
That's my man, Daniel Rainbow Lowe. He's got that smooth stroke from the top of the arc. Nothing but nylon on that one.
Lowe averaging just under 8 points per game. He's the team's leading rebounder.
You see Rollins in that staple of Coach Klusman, the 3-2 zone to start it.
One of several zone variations that Klusman's players will run today. Lowe D'ing up Brett Hansen. He kicks out to Campbell. Finds Ben Marello in the corner. Shot clock winding down. Marello just barely draws iron. It's a really fast break up ahead. And Lowe takes contact, and the and one cannot drop. But Lowe will go to the line for two. Foul was called on DeAndre Campbell. Great transition pass ahead by McKim.
You see Daniel Lowe on the replay trying to fight through that contact. Seemed like his step was a little bit off there. Trying to get the ball high. I'm sure if he elevates that ball quicker above his head, he's getting the foul and the hoop.
Lowe's good on the first. He's a 56% free throw shooter. Hasn't really taken many free throws this year. He's only 9 of 16, now 10 of 17. He's only 10 made three throws through a starting forward for this team. Really shows you how much they go inside to him, Mike.
They got to emphasize that today. They got to exploit the size mismatch they have down low whenever they can. Get Daniel Lowe on a small guard. Florida Southern loves to switch on defense.
Rollins up 7-3 for several minutes of this first half. And an one. They're going to call it on the floor. DeAndre Campbell took some contact from Daniel Lowe. Converted the shot.
Lowe seemed to get Campbell in the face on that drive. Luckily enough, it was on the floor.
First personal on Lowe, first team foul of the half for Rollins. Marello all alone inside, pass deflected. Inside to Roush, quick turnaround, rush a shot, rebounded Lowe.
The shots aren't falling yet for Florida Southern, but the ball movement is there in this zone for the Rollins defense.
Bonner, a strong take, and he's good for his first 2 points of the game, the leading scorer for the Tars. Puts them up 9-3.
Jacoby Bonner's aggressiveness has led this team on offense all year.
Rollins now in a 1-3-1 zone. Riccio running the baseline. Forces Hansen into a fadeaway jumper. Bonner rebounds. Mike, that's the first time we've seen the 1-3-1 tonight.
Switching it up, the different looks that Coach Klusman can present with a zone. We're seeing it early on, and so far it's paying dividends for the Rollins defense.
Riccio all alone up top. His pass, lazy, picked off, and he's going to pick up a foul in the process. Hansen was headed quick the other way. First personal foul on Riccio.
Believe it or not, that's a smart foul on Riccio. Hansen would have been putting on a big dunk show if he would have been in the open court.
Second team foul of the first half for Rollins. They jump out to a 9-3 lead, shooting 67%, 4 minutes into this first half.
And they're back into that 3-2 zone. Marello.
Backdoor look. Marello was all alone. He missed the bunny.
A lot of easy looks early on, just not falling for the Mocs. Resulting in a 6-0 run for the Tars.
Castaneda elevates, and he's good on his first three-pointer of the game. Eric Castaneda's three-pointer forces Mike Donnelly to call a timeout. And Rollins, a hot start for the Tars, a 12-3 lead, just under 4 minutes into the first half, and they're getting it from everybody. McKim, the only starter who hasn't found the scoring column so far. Castaneda with 3 points. Riccio has 2. Bonner with 2. And Lowe with 5. Total that up, and that's 12 for the Tars and a 9-point lead.
Castaneda stepping into one in rhythm there, banging that three to start this game, and that's the type of lift that they need on the offensive side here. Florida Southern puts it up at an 80-point-per-game clip. And believe it or not, even though everything's going great right now for Rollins, we saw a little bit of confrontation between Jacoby Bonner and a teammate on the bench.
Mike, Rollins is off to a red-hot start. They're shooting 75% from the floor. They're good on 3 of 4 of their shots from the field. They're good on 2 of their 3 three-pointers. Vice versa, Florida Southern could not have gotten out to a more colder start. They're 1 and 6 from the floor. That's good for 17%. And for a team that came in shooting more than 42% good on their shots from the field, that is not an ideal start for Mike Donnelly's team.
Definitely not ideal, but right now the ball movement is there. They're getting in and out of the zone, of the Rollins zone, no matter what it is, the 1-3-1 or the 3-2. They're moving the ball in and out real quickly. They're having a lot of easy looks at the rim. They're just not cashing in right now.
Are we seeing any effects from the Mocs offense, obviously without their leading scorer in the lineup today? Jonathan Lawton removes 21.3 points from their team's average scoring. It's really hard to make that up, isn't it, Mike?
You're not kidding. And the kid shoots 44 from beyond the arc, so it's a big loss for them. He can pretty much shoot it. They call it in the gym range with this kid, and it's a big loss with him not in the lineup today.
Hunter Yenor checked in during that timeout. He's going to cause a turnover, some active hands, able to knock the ball off Kai Cleary, who also checked in at that intermission.
Mr. Consistency checks into the ball game, Hutton Yenor, and he's already providing positive dividends for his team.
Yenor is the 3rd leading scorer on this Tars team, averaging 10.5 points per game. He's a freshman out of Orlando, Florida. Parker Davis checked in as well during that timeout. McKim, a great ball fake. His shot came up short. An offensive rebound to Yenor. His 3 is up and good. Rollins good on 3 of 4 from downtown. Some hot shooting that we have not seen from that range lately from the Tars.
I don't know if there's anybody in the SSC that lets the game come to him better than Hutton Yenor. The kid just has a knack for letting the game come to him, and he never forces anything.
He had a quiet game last Saturday, only 5 points, 3 rebounds in 16 minutes of action. When the Tars last took on Eckerd, that was Saturday the 12th. They had a bye week this past Wednesday. Shot clock running low again. Roush forces one up. And Brett Hansen tipped it out for an offensive rebound. Hansen lines up a 3. He's up and good.
And that's a guy you cannot give space to. Brett Hansen, the lefty, he's very one-dimensional with that left hand. You got to make him go to his right, and you can't give him open space.
That ends a 13-0 Rollins run. Draws the score to 15-6, 9-point deficit for the Mocs. Castaneda dribbling with his right hand, pulls up, free throw extended. Good looking jump shot by Eric Castaneda, extends the lead back up to 11 for the Tars.
Castaneda did a really good job breaking his man down. A little bit of ISO ball. That's what you can afford to do when you have a man-to-man type of defense presented to you.
Hansen, the lefty, drives right hand baseline, up, misses. Yenor the rebound.
It's a man's rebound from Hutton Yenor. There he goes in transition. Oh, look at the pass. Magic Johnson-esque. The rebound, the coast to coast on the little dump down to Daniel Lowe. I love it.
Tars getting it from everybody early. 13-point lead against the number 22 team in the country.
It's all about keeping this hot start, staying consistent. We've seen the Tars go through stretches of coldness in games, not hitting shots and not keeping up the consistent flow.
McKim for 3, just misses, and Parker Davis maintains control. Castaneda lets one fly. Kai Cleary the rebound for the Mocs.
Little bounce in Castaneda's step today. He feels confident shooting the ball. You can see it.
Ben Marello, the ball handler. He might be a primary scorer today for the Mocs. He had 27 in their win on Wednesday night against Eckerd. The inside pass to Jack Roush is up and down for 2. First 2 points of the game for Roush. He had missed his previous 2 shots of this first half. Davis drives left-handed, but stopped and pulled up. McKim looking to run the pick and roll with Lowe, but he kicks to the corner for Yenor. His 3 is good.
The vision from McKim finding Yenor wide open in the corner. Right when you get into the middle of the court, good things are going to happen.
6 points for Yenor. He's good on both of his 3-pointers of this first half. 3-point shooting has not been a strength of this Rollins team this point to the season, but they're good on 4 of 7. A big rebound by Jack Roush. Looked to go over the back of Parker Davis. He put his arms up looking for a call.
Took the words right out of my mouth, partner. He definitely got away with one over there, over the back for sure.
Both teams have 3 subs ready to come in, but it's Rollins' ball. Yunor, another three on the way, and he just rims out on his first miss from downtown today.
They didn't even put a hand in Yunor's face there.
Turnover, gives ball back to Rollins. McKim for three. Looked good out of his hand, but rebound by Slinky Jones. Brett Hansen ahead of the pack. And the lefty reverse layup up and down.
There he is with that left hand like we talked about earlier. Flashy ball handling, goes around his back and just scoops it in for 2.
5 points for Hansen. He's averaging about 17 points per game, the second leading scorer for the Mocs. Yunor inside, good for his 8th point of the game.
Yunor with 8 points on 3 minutes of play. You want to talk about production, efficiency? Hutton Yunor. That's production and efficiency right there.
Cleary's drive stopped out. He kicks to Marello. Ben Marello is good. I already said he was red hot on Wednesday in their victory against Eckerd. Marello had 27, 6 rebounds in 35 minutes. We say 35 minutes. This Mocs team does not have a very deep bench. They heavily rely on their starters. They have 5 players that came in averaging more than 28 points per game. McKim backtrack, try to cut off the drive by Kai Cleary, turns into an and one. And the Mocs pull the lead to 7.
Don't look now, but the Mocs are back in this ball game. Just when you thought Rollins was going to extend the lead, went on one of those little droughts and a little bit of carelessness with the basketball there as well.
10.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Rollins with a 24-17 lead. Adrian Donnelly with Mike Warren on the play-by-play. Tyler Baronsky is joining us on the sideline. Tyler, what do you have for us today?
It's all been about controlling the pace. Rollins defense mixing up with the zones. They've been able to get the offensive looks that they want, with Yunor looking comfortable with his threes, Castaneda getting good looks. If you keep that pace, good things are going to keep happening for Rollins.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, for the breakdown of what's going on so far. Rollins, fueled by a 13-0 run. The lead is cut to 7. Florida Southern is good on 4 of their last 4 field goals after starting ice cold. They started 1 of 7. They're up to 7 out of 15. They're good for 47%, which is already eclipsing their season average. Rollins is 8 of 14 from the field. That's good for 57%. And more importantly, they have 4 3-pointers early in this first half for a team that comes in averaging just under 8 per game in terms of 3-point field goals made. Two by Yunor, 1 by Castaneda, and 1 by Lowe. Counts for the downtown activity for the Tars.
And you're seeing that shooting percentage for the Mocs starting to creep up a little bit. 47% now after that 1 for 6 start at the beginning of the game.
Kai Cleary converts the first free throw to finish off his 3-point play, and the lead down to 6 for the Tars. Parker Davis, the ball handler, hands off to Sheldon Oduna, who just checked in during the timeout. Niels Lehman just checked in, and his shot is well short. Didn't even look like it raised up above the rim.
That was rushed. It was clearly rushed. He couldn't get his feet under him there, and as a result, a short shot.
Riccio is going to pick up on a foul, cut out the feet of Slinky Jones as he elevated along the baseline. It's the 2nd personal foul for Riccio and the 4th team foul for the Tars in the first half. Slinky Jones steps to the line. He's a 56% free throw shooter.
Slinky's one of those guys that the Mocs are going to have to ride hard today. Like you said, they don't go deep into that bench, and as we see Rico Relaford into the game now, the sophomore guard. And Relaford and Tyler Smith holding down the backcourt for the Mocs. And Slinky Jones, he can do a little bit of everything. Stretch 4, run the floor, throw down some monster jams. As he misses that second shot. And the Tars need to respond here, Adrian. They got to get something going on offense. Right now, the momentum's all in the Mocs' favor.
It's a 7-0 run for Florida Southern over the last minute. The lead down to 5. Rollins looking for a basket. Castaneda elevates. His jumper is up and good. Hot start for Castaneda, 3 of 4 from the field. We mentioned since him entering the starting lineup coming back from injury, the Tars are 3 and 8.
The Tars going into that 1-3-1. I love it. I love when they put Sheldon O'Duna at the top.
Hansen elevates on a 3, rebounded by Jacoby Bonner.
When they have Sheldon O'Duna at the top of that 1-3-1, his length and his size really pays dividends, and it's great to see him get out on the ball handlers and the shooters at the top of the key.
Lehman another 3, and it's just as ugly as the first one he took. So 2 rush shots quick off the bench for Niels Lehman. Not his strength is 3-point shooting. Makes up for it by takes an offensive foul.
Where's one for his team there, doing a little bit of dirty work. We'll get the ball back in the offensive hands.
That foul was called on Tyler Smith. He had just checked in the last time out. That his first personal foul and the 4th team foul for the Mocs in this first half. That was a good defensive possession by Lehman. He took a bad shot on the other end and he came back. He was able to force a turnover and get the ball back for the Tars.
Right now the Mocs doing a decent job on defense, limiting Brett Hansen only with 5 points in this first half. Other guys gonna have to contribute without Lawton in the lineup.
Rollins with a 7-point lead. Adrian Donnelly, Mike Warren, Tyler Bronski, the broadcast team for this men's game. Inside Warden Arena, Sunshine State Conference matchup. Good defensive possession by Rollins, under 10 on the shot clock. Marello, ball fake on the 3-point line, elevates on the baseline. His shot is up and good. Lead back to 5. Bonner on an attempted drive, went into the chest.
Looked like it was E.J.
D'Amberville, also a recent check-in. He picks up his first foul of the first half. Lehman's going to take a seat. O'Donnell's going to take a seat as Yenor and Lowe check back in.
Yenor back in the game, hoping he can give a little bit of a boost on offense for Rollins, already with 8 points in just 5 minutes of play.
Castaneda finds Bonner along the wing. Screen and roll with Lowe. Davis keeps it. Finds Castaneda up top. Drive baseline. Castaneda is blocked by Roush. Out of bounds. Rollins maintains possession. 7 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And Rollins is going to call a timeout to talk over a play.
Castaneda with a little double clutch on the baseline drive. He might have been better off just taking it straight up instead. Roush with some good defense, good help defense. And the Tars are just clinging on to this 5-point lead right now. They got to get their offensive rhythm back. And for me, I believe it starts with Eric Castaneda, but it continues with Connor McKim. Connor McKim has to be aggressive in this game. The Tars are 5-0 when he shoots 5 or more free throws in a game. It's happened 5 times this year, and it hasn't happened in a while. He's only shot 2 free throws in his last 6 games, and it's been a negative result, I should say, for this 4-game losing streak. They need to get aggressive and attack the lane against his team, and with a thin bench like the Mocs have, get some of these guys into foul trouble, put the pressure on them, and that's when you can start to control this game. Right now, it looks like the Mocs are going to go ahead and creep their way back into this one. You cannot let a nationally ranked team like this hang around.
It's a 5-point lead for the Tars. Just under 8 minutes remaining in this first half. The largest lead for Rollins was 14, about 8 minutes into the first half. That lead has been chipped away, and it'll be the Tars' ball coming out of this timeout. Looking to remain to build on the momentum heading into halftime.
Last 4 minutes and 30 seconds, Florida Southern's been on a 16-7 run. It's time for the Tars to snap on out of it here.
Castaneda for 3, front rim, rebounded D'Amberville. Mocs push ahead, Marello took a little contact, converts his layup, the lead down to 3.
2 different Tars got a piece of Marello there, and like I talked about earlier in this broadcast, the pace that the Mocs like to play with, showing it there, getting into the open court and finishing.
Quiet half for Bonner. So far, only 2 points for the leading scorer. Low, a jump hook halfway down. D'Amberville another rebound, pushes ahead. Too high for Marello. McKim let it ride out. A turnover, Rollins ball.
Very fortunate turnover for the Tars. Mocs were getting ready to run in transition once again.
McKim handling up top. Finds Bonner. Bonner dribbling with his left hand, finds Lowe, entry pass inside. Lowe spins over his right shoulder.
The footwork from Rainbow Lowe there, fakes his left way, goes to the right, and finishes with the right over the shoulder. Great move from the postman rather.
Castaneda the pickup, finds Yenor, 2 steps ahead, and a blocking call charged. D'Amberville got under Yenor as he elevated for his layup. 2 shots coming for Hunter Yenor. First foul for E.J. D'Amberville. Second foul for D'Amberville. 6th foul the first half.
You know, at media day, Coach Wilson said that if Hutton Yenor was 2 inches taller, he'd be a Division I player, and I'm truly believing it. This kid attacks the rim. He just does everything the right way, and whatever it is the team needs, he seems to fill the void.
Yenor with his 9th point on that free throw. Yenor and Lowe, the leading scorers for the Tars early. And they're getting it from a couple players that, while dependable and reliable, they're not necessarily their leading scorers by any stretch of the term.
Yenor shoots 90% at the free throw line. Cashes in on that one there. Tell you what, at halftime, I'm looking forward to that free throw contest we got with Dan Patrick and the president of Rollins.
That will be coming up at halftime. This matchup. Slinky Jones battling with Lowe inside. Lowe kept his ground. Jones was able to get it up and over the long Lowe.
Jones just muscled his way inside on Lowe there as we see a little bit of a off-ball foul.
Kai Cleary's going to pick up a foul away from the ball, 90 feet away from their own basket.
And that's just unnecessary. And you hear Mike Donnelly reaming him out for that. You can't do that, he's yelling. It's a freshman mistake, and it's showing right now.
90 feet away from their defending hoop. Puts McKim, who's a 90% free throw shooter, on the line in the bonus. And Mike, you mentioned the stat during the last timeout, but it's worth repeating once more. The difference in this Rollins team when McKim is able to get to the free throw line versus when he's not. He's only attempted 2 free throws in his last 6 games. And for a player who shoots at such a high clip, it's so important for him to get into lane and able to pick up those fouls, which the refs seem to recount some fouls, and that was only the 6th personal foul for the Mocs, so the next one will put the Tars in the bonus.
I'd love to see McKim play aggressive here and get to the free throw line on his own.
Low and offensive rebound, puts it back up. That shot short. Castaneda was inside for the rebound. And Yenor, third man in the battle, catches Roush with an elbow as they battled both for that rebound. It'll be the first foul on Hutton Yenor and the 5th foul on the Tars.
I don't know if Roush thought it was the media timeout or what. He started to walk towards the bench after that foul.
Rollins cooled off from the field. Their shooting percentage down to 42%.
Looks like they're in that 2-1-2 zone on defense now. Yenor gets his foot out there.
Kick ball will reset the shot clock to 20 seconds. It will remain Mocs ball.
Still clinging on to that 5-point lead.
Cleary, Marello, Hansen, Roush, and Slinky Jones, the 5 Mocs on the floor. Yenor, McKim, Lowe, Bonner, and Castaneda, the 5 Tars. Cleary drives on Castaneda, cut off by Lowe. It turns into a turnover. Ahead to Yenor, steps ahead from a couple players. And Yenor converts a fast break layup, and he's good for 12 points in this first half for the freshman.
When life hands you lemons, you gotta make lemonade. The Tars doing a great job there. McKim gets the easy turnover and finding his man Yenor up ahead for an easy deuce.
Marello pump fakes, got low to elevate in the air. Marello shot just rims out. Cleary a strong rebound, misses, and Yenor, the defensive rebound headed the other way. Bonner with strength to the basket. Bonner's good for his 4th point of this first half.
Jacoby Bonner with a man's take to the basket, finishing high in amongst the trees for 2.
Rollins lead back up to 9. Florida Southern had cut it to 3. About 8 minutes remaining in that first half. Several minutes after that, the Tars have gone on a little bit of a run themselves.
Right now the rotations in this zone for Rollins have been just enough to keep them in the lead. Doing a really decent job, I have to say.
Second time in a row that Jones has won the matchup against Lowe.
But you can tell this is not the ideal offensive rhythm that the Mocs want to have, and that's a testament to the defense that the Tars are playing.
Slinky Jones with 8 points, the leading scorer for the Mocs. Lowe with 9 points, left-handed hook shot that time, draws iron. Hansen pushes forward the other way for the Mocs.
I would really like to see Daniel Lowe pass out there. He had a couple perimeter shooters that they probably could have gotten another look at the a better look at the basket rather with that much time on the shot clock.
Roush in the corner. Bonner chests him up. Wild pass off the backboard. Not sure who he was looking to pass that to, but it ends up being picked up for an easy layup by the Mocs.
You see Castaneda laughing it off there. He just looked at Connor McKim and said, what are you going to do? Sometimes the ball bounces your way, and that time it happened for the Mocs. They cash in on it.
34-29, the Tars lead. Yenor for 3. What else is good? Hutton Yenor.
Where's the nearest fire extinguisher? I'm going to need it really quick. Hutton Yenor's on fire right now.
5 of 6 from the field for Yenor. 3 of 4 from downtown. The Tars leading scorer with 15 points. Hansen inside to Roush.
The defense from McKim.
Cleary from the corner. Short. And a battle underneath. We'll see who they get that call on. 3-point shooting is not the strength of this Mocs team. Coming in, they only average 31.6% shooting from downtown.
Looks like they get Jacoby Bonner for that foul on the push on the baseline.
Jacoby Bonner's first personal foul, 6th foul of the Tars. As we hit the last media timeout of the first half, Mike, what do you think of the Tars? They got an 8-point lead against the number 22 team in the country, getting some scoring from all different directions.
And it's going to be up to them to sustain this lead right now. They're doing a good job moving the ball, staying patient on offense, but the big thing for them is going to be their defensive contribution. They have to continue to rotate and communicate on defense, especially if they're going to rely on the zone like they do.
Under 3 minutes remaining, Adrian Donnelly, Mike Warren, Tyler Baronski here at Warden Arena. Tars with an 8-point lead in what's essentially a must-win game for them in this Sunshine State Conference schedule. The Tars currently sit in 9th place in the conference standings with a 2-6 conference record. The way that the playoffs are structured for the Sunshine State Conference, the top 8 teams will make it into the bracket-style tournament that begins on March 6th. And in the current position, the Tars, with their 2-6 conference record, are 1 game behind Palm Beach Atlantic. Palm Beach Atlantic 3-5.
And I think it's pretty safe to say that this is a must-win game for the Tars. They need a big conference win, and nothing comes bigger than a rivalry game against Florida Southern. We saw in warm-ups the Tars rocking the Beat Southern shirts. It's a bold move from the Tars, and I really hope it pays off.
The bleachers at Warden Arena are almost to near capacity.
This is the most packed game I've seen all year.
With 3 minutes remaining in this first half at Warden Arena, and the Tars hanging on to an 8-point lead. Try to build on this momentum going into halftime. Marello, a low 3-pointer, is rebounded by McKim. Marello, after having that big offensive night on Wednesday, his 27 points, has been fairly quiet. 9 points to date, 4 of 7 shooting.
Oh, the
Bonner,
hesitation.
Strong drive. He was rejected by Slinky Jones, but they're going to call somebody with the body contact.
Bonner sold the fake there. He communicated to Castaneda, come set me one, come set me one. Boom, cuts baseline and gets the foul.
Foul was called on Brett Hansen. Hansen's first foul. And that right there is the 7th foul. Rollins shooting 1-1 the remainder of this first half. Bonner, 63% free throw shooter. Good on his first.
Bonner already over 90 free throws shot on the season. Kid loves to play aggressive and get to the free throw line. It's all about cashing in on those free points that can really give the Tars a boost down the stretch in this game.
2 for 2 for Bonner. 6 points for the Tars season leading scorer. Averaging 15 points per game, and Tars picked up a little full court press after that made free throw.
I was just about to say that, Adrian. Didn't mean to step on your toes. They extend that 2-1-2 to a full court.
Marello from the corner got Castaneda off his feet.
That's a great ball fake from Marello. He's gotten people to bite on that a couple times tonight.
Castaneda, Yenor, McKim, Bonner, and Lowe. Excuse me, Lehman is checked in for Lowe in the last second. Castaneda getting tangled up with Rico Relaford. It's a mismatch down low as McKim drives. Tipped out of his hand, and with 9 seconds remaining on the shot clock, Rollins will retain possession. A 30-second timeout called by Tom Klusman. 9 seconds left on the shot clock, minute 44 remaining in this first half. Adrian Donnelly, along with Mike Warren and Tyler Bronski.
Hey guys, so it seems like Rollins kind of went a little 3-ball happy to let Florida Southern come back into this game, but they've controlled their defense again. They're getting better looks inside, going to the basket, going to the free throw line. You've seen Yenor there at the line a few times. McKim, Bonner, that's what you want from a Rollins team. But you gotta thank Hudson Yenor. If I'm his teammate, I'm buying that guy a steak dinner after this game. The kid doesn't look like a freshman. Back to you guys.
That he does not. Hutton Yenor certainly does not look like a freshman. He's got all the confidence in the world, and he's displaying it from beyond the arc. Displaying it all over the court, quite frankly.
Yenor, still the Tars' leading scorer in today's game, 15 points for the freshman. 5 of 6 shooting. His only miss came from downtown.
And even his miss looked good.
Bonner, a pump fake. Seemed to get hit by everybody on the Mocs team, but they're...
Wow, how did it, where's the call? 3 different guys got a hand on Bonner. He even drew the guy up in the air and no call.
10-point lead for the Tars, minute and a half remaining in this first half. Jack Roush from the baseline, rebounded Daniel Lowe. Up ahead to Bonner, he's gonna take on everybody it looks like. Layup was wild off there, and Brett Hansen's headed the other way for the Mocs. Inside to Roush, hook shot up and over Castaneda.
Roush just taking advantage of the size mismatch he had on Castaneda, just got him by a couple pounds and muscles his way in for the easy deuce.
The 6'7" Jack Roush took on the 6'4" Castaneda. Castaneda was giving up about 50 pounds in that matchup. Couple misses in a row for the Tars.
Couple strong takes on the last couple possessions from the Tars and no call. Whistles have been silent, letting these guys play.
40 seconds remaining in the first half. Slinky Jones for 3. Looked like it went off Yenor's face.
Jones had a word or two for the ref, said Bonner's got to let him land, and while I do agree with him, got to be careful. Little attitude for the official there to come back to haunt you later in the game.
About a 1 second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. The Mocs can realistically hold this for the last shot of the half as Marello controls out along midcourt.
If I'm Rollins, I'm not letting Brett Hansen do what he wants to do, which is break you down one-on-one.
10 seconds on the clock. Hansen dribbling with his left hand. Pass is inside to Damberville, finds Marello.
That's a travel.
Marello is able to get it up and down, and Castaneda's last second heave misses everything. And at the half, a 39-33 lead for the Rollins Tars. They led by as many as 14, but the lead ends up being 6 at the break. Hunter Yenor, the leading scorer for the Tars in the first half, 15 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 3 of 4 from downtown. Ben Marello, the leading scorer for the Mocs, 11 points on 5 of 10 shooting. And as we hit the break, Tyler Bronski's here with Kevin Hogan, assistant coach Kevin Hogan.
Thanks, guys. Coach, you guys threw a lot of different zones in the beginning to get that early lead. How were you guys able to, or how was that effective for you guys to throw all those different zones out there?
Yeah, you know, they spread the floor a good amount, and so we just don't want them to get comfortable. They're going to use probably the same alignment with most of our zones, so just trying to keep it off balance a little bit, and it was fairly effective for us. But the biggest key in this one is just making sure we rebound the ball and keep them off the second chance points.
And you guys 3-ball heavy in the beginning, and then a lot going down to the post in the second half of that first quarter. What are the type of looks you're looking for second half?
Yeah, you know, it's going to come and go whether it's inside or out. We told our guys, play free. If it's your shot, go for it. So it's just a matter of the ebb and flow of the game. But we're always trying to get that ball inside if we can and play from inside to out. So hopefully we can do a little bit of both in the second half.
Cool. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tyler. Tars taking a 39-33 lead into the half. A 6-point lead against the number 22 ranked team in the nation. A good way for the Tars to potentially knock off this 4-game losing streak. Tars shot 42% from the field in that first half compared to Florida Southern's 47%. Tars good on 5 3-pointers for a team that averages 8. Tars are well on their way to meeting that season average. We are going to take a quick break. There is a lot of activities going around Warden Arena and the campus of Rollins College today. A free throw shooting contest with the president of Rollins College and legendary sportscaster Dan Patrick will be coming up. And we will be so lucky to have Dan join us in the broadcast booth for a good chunk of this second half. He's going to help break down some of what's going on with the Tars and the Mocs today. A former Division I basketball player himself, Mike, I'm very excited for Dan to sit and join with us. But for now, it's a 6-point lead for the Tars over the Mocs, and we will be back shortly after this halftime intermission on the Rollins Tars Sports Network.
So here we're go over here. They will take turns shooting 5 free throws apiece. Fans on this side of the gym, the President Cornwell Racing will receive 4 tickets to the Orlando Improv. Dan is shooting for fans on this side of the gym. You will win a coupon code for Icon Orlando shops and attractions. Dan, as the guest, you will shoot first. We're going to rotate. President Cornwell. It's a defensive slugfest right now. On the board. Again, shooting for this side. President Cornwell for this side. 1-0 with 3 shots remaining. It's 2-0, which joins that over DPA and Rollins. 2-0. President Cornwell leads it up here. Dan going for the dagger here. We're down to posterity at this point. Yep. We're down to posterity points. And there's it. All right, let's get on the board, please. Congratulations to everyone on this side of the gym. Well, Gary, you've got a look in your eye.
But wait, let's wait.
Yes, sir?
I think everybody should win a prize. What do you think?
chosen out of the crowd for a chance to win either tickets to the Pro Bowl a week from Sunday or day passes to Universal Studios. They will shoot 3 3-pointers. They only need to make one. If you so choose, you may elect Dan or President Cornwall to shoot one of your shots, or you can shoot all 3. What is your name? You gonna put it up? You want Dan to shoot it for you? Alright, Dan, you're going to make a 3-pointer. Are you playing for Universal or Pro Bowl? Alright, tickets for Universal. Dan's got to make a 3-pointer. Dan from way downtown. Here we go. Unless she wants to pass on to President Cornwall now. Yep. President Cornwall, he made one of the windows upstairs. A 3-pointer to send her to Universal Studios. One more. You may want to do it on your own based on what we see. Alright, stay right there. Clay Brown from Full Sail University is shooting for tickets to the Pro Bowl. Turn it off. You want Dan or Grant to shoot one for you? You want Dan? Okay. Oh! Clay's going to try one more. Oh! Gary, what do you think? Send them anyway?
I think they both win. Great job, guys. Great effort. Great effort.
Let's hear one more time for our shooters, for President Cornwall and William Patrick. Go ahead, Cornwall.
Everyone from the Princeton Review to Condé Nast Traveler regularly ranks Rollins as one of America's most beautiful college campuses. Zoom in though. Take, for example, our conference-style learning environment. Consider the dozens of high-end laboratories and collaborative workshops. Drop in on the professional performance venues where our student artists hone their crafts. Stroll by the courts and playing fields where our student athletes develop lifelong leadership skills. Take a closer look at Rollins, and you'll realize our beauty runs deep.
Back inside Warden Arena, Tars with a 39-33 lead at the half. Adrian Donnelly, along with Mike Warren, Tyler Bronski's handling the sideline. And we have a very special guest with us in the booth by the name of Dan Patrick is going to be handling some of the color commentary with us the second half. Dan, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yep, a lot of fun. I like this offense that Rollins runs. That I talked to Coach at halftime. I said, I think I could have played in this system where you just run to the corner and get to shoot threes.
I was going to ask you how you think that you might be able to picture yourself fitting in with this team. They play zone, they shoot threes. Is that something that you think you could handle?
I don't play defense, and just let me shoot with nobody on me, and I'm pretty good.
Shoot or shoot.
Mox with first possession out of the half. Brett Hansen, the lefty, drives inside past E.J. Damberville. First basket of the second half is up and good, and the Tars lead cut to 4.
Little extracurriculars after that one. Adrian seems like Riccio and Damberville getting into some little physical altercation. Referee nipped that in the bud real quick.
McKim, Lowe, Castaneda, Riccio, and Bonner, the 5 Tars on the court, the same as the starting 5 for Tom Klusman. Ben Marello, E.J. Damberville, Jack Roush, Slinky Jones, and Brett Hansen, the 5 Mox on the floor. So the only difference in Mike Donnelly's lineup, substituting Damberville in for DeAndre Campbell. Tars with a 4-point lead, just under 30 seconds into this second half. Daniel Lowe, very strong first half for him. Hands off to Bonner, dribbles off his foot, and Morello's headed the other way for the Mox.
Sloppy start for both teams here.
Marello, strong first half, 11 points for the Mox. Leaves it for Damberville, lets one fly. In on his own rebound, ends up going to Roush. Kicks out to Jones. Damberville on the corner, leaves it back to Jones. Refs telling the players on the Mox bench to sit down.
Rollins stays in that 2-3 zone.
One thing I noticed, though, about 10 minutes to go in the first half, it felt like that Florida Southern was getting every loose ball. They seemed like they were more aggressive than Rollins was. I think we've seen that through the first almost minute and a half here of the second half.
Florida Southern plays with a lot of speed in their offense, which is ironic given the fact that they normally will only use an 8-man bench. They have all their starters normally average more than 28 minutes per game, so to play with that fast speed pretty much contradicts the personnel that they're using. Bonner, strong take, ends up with air. Damberville rebounds, kicks ahead to Hansen.
And Dan, just to sort of elaborate, you see Hansen dropping one in for 2. Just to elaborate on that physicality aspect of the game, it's a full 5-guy effort for the Mox. I mean, the rebounding is coming from point guards more than it is from their big men today.
I love Hansen's ability to get to the hoop. I just think he would be somebody that I want the ball in his hands.
Turnover by the Tars. The lead is down to 2. They led by as many as 14 in the
Nice
first
pass.
half. And Hansen draws even for the Mocs. And Klusman's got a timeout called just under 2 minutes into the first half. It's a tie game here at Warden Arena.
And that is the ideal type of start that you would want if you're the Mocs of Florida Southern. Coming out with some great defense, finishing on the other end in transition.
And it goes back to Florida Southern, a team that's not that deep, but they go after the loose ball, and they want to make you pay when they get that loose ball, as we saw at the other end with the layup.
For a team that does not use their bench as much, it is really impressive how fast they play and how they like to keep the pace in a consistent, fast pace.
As we wait for the Rollins dance team to finish out the entertainment of this 30-second timeout, Mike, a big stat that stood out to me in the first half that we keyed on. Rollins was 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Coming in as a team, they only averaged about 68%, but they did not miss a free throw. They've shot single digits in free throws in 3 of their last 4 games. And a guy like Dan, who's especially adverse at taking free throws after we saw from this halftime show. Dan, we got to ask, you only made 2 out of 5 out of there. What do you have to say with your performance in the halftime free throw performance?
Who's keeping your stats? I was 4 out of 5 for the line.
4 out of 5?
Yeah, I only missed one the first one.
Well, never mind then. You're already way above Rollins' average then, so no worries then. No worries, no hard feelings.
So all those hoops around the office with McLovin are starting to pay off, huh?
Yep, I knew one day it was going to pay off in a big time, and it would be at halftime of a Rollins Florida Southern game. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
It's clutch time, baby.
D2 Sunshine State Conference Hoops in Warden Arena. Adrian Donnelly, Mike Warren, Dan Patrick, and Tyler Bronski, your broadcast team. The Rollins women took a defeat to the Florida Southern women's team, 78-61. Inside pass, Riccio is tipped away.
Riccio telegraphed that one.
The Tars are on their heels to start the second half. They carried a 6-point lead in the halftime. That lead is now even at 39. And Rollins still looking for their first basket of the half. McKim, a pull-up from the free throw line. Misses off to the right. D'Amberville, another rebound.
Another guard with another rebound for the Mocs. It's a full 5-guy effort on the glass for this team.
Roush inside. Low on his back, kicks out to Hansen. He hesitated on the 3.
Yeah. Once again, going after those loose balls.
Slinky Jones in on a couple offensive rebounds, and they're going to get Jack Roush the foul of Castaneda. Roush is a big boy. Some upstate New York size, we'll call it that. Syracuse native, 6'7", 235, the junior forward. Picks up his second personal foul of the half. Mocs already with 3 fouls in this second half.
And Adrian, we heard Tyler talk to Coach Hogan at the half about how the importance of rebounding it would be for the Tars, and right now we're seeing the Mocs just much more of a sense of urgency on the glass and every loose ball.
Mocs defense looked to be a lot more active than they had in the first half. Riccio.
Looks like he got bailed out.
Excuse me, Castaneda took contact, a couple pivots. Foul was called on Tyler Smith. Excuse me, D'Amberville picked up the personal. That's his 3rd foul and the 4th foul for the Mocs.
Doesn't feel like there's good spacing for Rollins on the offensive end. They're sort of getting congested there. That first half, you got a lot more free flowing. You got guys who were camping in the corners for threes, and it opened things up a little bit.
I think a big part of that was due to the penetration from the guards, being able to get into the middle of a rotating defense. Like Florida Southern, they'll go into a man matchup zone sometimes, and they'll switch a lot of times on any type of ball screen. So getting into the middle of those type of defenses is big.
Nice pass.
Rollins in their 1-3-1 zone defense. We've seen that a couple times already. And they draw a 3-second violation turnover. Hansen caught in no man's land in the middle of the paint.
When you're that size, you don't have as much time as anybody else does, so you got to get in, make a decision, get out.
In amongst the trees. McKim handling the ball, top of the key, sets a screen off low. McKim pulls up for three, and he is good.
You saw the confidence right there in Connor McKim's stroke. It was in rhythm. He didn't even hesitate on that one. He knew he was going to shoot the ball.
McKim had been 0-6 from the field prior to that made basket. He's good for his first 3 points of the game, the senior point guard. That three-pointer will cause a 30-second timeout called by Mike Donnelly.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been the play I would have diagrammed if I needed a basket as desperately as Rollins did, and have him take the shot as well.
McKim has been a junior leader for this program, shooting close to 45% from the field, 39% from three. But as you say, Dan, difficult to call a guy's number who's been 0-6 from the floor so far. Rollins the lead has climbed back up to 5. It's 44-39, just under 4 minutes remaining in the second half here at Worden Arena. We have hit our first media timeout. Hutton Unor has yet to check in for the second half. He has been the leading scorer for the Tars, 15 points on 5 of 6 shooting. Ben Marello has led the way for the Florida Southern Mocs, 11 points on 5 of 10 shooting from the field. It's been a back and forth already second half that we've seen 2 ties and 2 lead changes to this point. Rollins led by as many as 14 in the first half. Florida Southern has crawled all the way back, the number 22 team in the country, averaging more than 80 points per game.
I wonder if Coach Klusman's going to switch up the zone look here coming out of the timeout. As we see Unor checking back into the ball game. Maybe switch it up and give this Florida Southern a different look on defense. Present the 1-3-1 or 2-3, 2-1-2, something. Just to switch it up. Don't let them get too comfortable.
Hansen handling off the inbounds. Inside look, and Ben Marello was wide open. I'm not sure that Tom Klusman has a zone defense where nobody is supposed to be in the middle of the floor, but that's what they came out of that timeout with.
And that's just a lack of communication. Zone's all about communicating and shifting over, covering spaces of the floor. No communication, a wide open Ben Marello.
Castaneda to
Lowe! Bring the house down, big man, why don't ya? Daniel Lowe, where did that come from? Throw it up and hammer it down.
13 points for Lowe, and that was allowed too. Got the crowd off its feet.
Nice pass. Their big men have a willingness and an ability to find the open man, and they do it real quick. As soon as they get it, they're always thinking of a cutting man.
Roush averages close to 2 assists per game. Fairly high number for a big guy like him. An empty possession for Rollins, heads the other way with Marello, bringing it to the corner. Slinky Jones lines up a 3, catches front rim. Roush, a big offensive rebound.
Once again inside.
Slinky Jones converts his turnaround layup. The lead back to 1.
This is something Florida Southern can use to exploit a mismatch down low. They've got so much size. At least 2 guys at 6'7" on the court at all times.
Dan, you're a big guy. What was your passing skills and abilities during your days?
I would pass on passing. I would always take the shot.
So you wouldn't fit into this Florida Southern offense then with the big men moving the ball around in this zone. Then you'd be looking for your own, right?
I might throw them the ball knowing that I'm going to get it back.
Could you handle anything like that alley-oop that Lowe
No.
just threw down from Castaneda?
I could handle the alley. I couldn't do the oop.
So you would need a Daniel Lowe on the other
Yes,
end
I would.
to throw it down?
Yes, I would.
So you were happy picking up the assist on a play like that. You still end up in the highlights, but...
Might be an accidental assist. I might have been going for the shot there, and then he just grabbed it out of the atmosphere.
What you're telling me is you're the original Mamba then. You got that original Mamba mentality.
Yeah. I never met a shot that I didn't like.
There we go.
Guys, it's been a back and forth beginning of the second half. 46-45, Florida Southern aggressive in the beginning, now Rollins. But Rollins, you got to understand that everything is going in the paint for Florida Southern. You got to stop that down low and then get out in transition and keep that pace going for Rollins.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. Rollins holding on to a 1-point lead, taking into this media timeout. Florida Southern has been on a 16-7 run, dating back to the last couple minutes of the first half. Rollins' shooting percentage down to 41% from the field. They're shooting good on 15 of 37 of their attempts. Florida Southern out shooting them at 49%. Rollins has hit 6 3-pointers, Florida Southern only 3. And as we wait to break this timeout, Parker Davis looks to be checking in for the Tars. He'll be joined by Sheldon O'Donoghue, Jacoby Bonner, Daniel Lowe, and Connor McKim out of this timeout.
Keep in mind that Marello hasn't done anything here in the second half, and he looks like he's the dangerous guy. He certainly was in the first half.
A lot of players that need to step up for the Mocs with the absence of their leading scorer, Jonathan Lawton. They're missing more than 20 points per game from their lineup. Brett Hansen chips in one, draws the lead to a tie.
And it's interesting when you don't have your leading scorer of how the team reacts. It takes a little while to understand sort of who is the go-to guy, and then when you feel like everybody's going to touch the ball, everybody has an opportunity, it's contagious.
I think we saw that in the first half with Rollins getting out to the lead that they did. McKim driving on, contested, took some contact, and he hit the ground hard.
Man, I hope he's okay.
Roush thinks he got all ball, had something to say. He's going to get a technical foul out of it.
What did I say earlier, Adrian? You talked to that official. He's not going to give you much room for leeway. And there it is, coming back to haunt them in the end. Slinky Jones had a word for him earlier, and Roush just put the icing on the cake. Give him 3 free throws at the line for the Tars now.
McKim looks to be okay. He hit the ground horizontally. Stayed down for a quick minute, but he's going to shoot these free throws. He's the Tars' best free throw shooter, close to 90% from the line.
I love that aggressiveness from McKim, though. They need him at the free throw line.
The officials for today, John Washburn, James Wilkening, and Rodney Williams. It was Washburn who was the one who threw the technical foul at Roush. Put his arms out in disgust, thought he got all ball on that play.
But see, I think Roush said something to his teammate right in front of the official, and I think that's how he got teed up. I don't think that was directed at the official. It felt like he was reiterating what he thought that he got all ball.
Might have been some body language that the refs don't take too kindly to.
Yeah, that's all open to interpretation with an official. That sometimes you get somebody who'll let you, give you a little leeway, they'll warn you. Other ones will just tee up quick.
Roush is going to take a breather as DeAndre Campbell checks back in. As some Florida Southern fans give him some applause for his efforts on what they thought was a clean block on McKim.
I think even a couple Rollins fans chiming in there, giving them a piece of their mind.
McKim's 2 free throws gives Rollins a lead, 49-47, pass ahead to Marello as they break the press. D'Amberville rises. That's not his strength as a shooter.
He had Marello inside the lane for another layup, missed him.
Bonner, he's not a shooter either. Takes a step in, more into his range. A quiet first half for Jacoby Bonner. That's only his 8th point for the Tars' leading scorer, coming in averaging more than 15 points per game.
Nothing too crazy there by Bonner. Just a simple shot fake. Didn't even really draw the ball up. Just sort of set his feet like he was going to shoot.
Campbell for 3, draws front rim, and it's rebounded. Big Slinky Jones. 12 points for Jones, his 2nd offensive rebound of the game.
So many red jerseys in that paint at all times on both sides of the floor.
Bonner working off a low screen. Finds Davis on the wing. Davis drives hands off McKim. Rushed his 3. Didn't look to have a clear handle on it. It's rebounded by the Mocs.
Mocs leading the rebounding race 26-21 right now.
Jones's pass finds nobody. DeAndre Campbell went into the crowd a little.
A little bit of an awkward landing there for Campbell.
Seems to be
I would
feel a little bit.
Feel worse for the bench that he ran into. It might be hurting more than him.
A couple photographers in the area got themselves out of the way. And there's a noticeable difference in this Florida State pressure and their defense. guarding some of these guys up top around the perimeter more than we saw in the first half. Some wholesale changes for Rollins as Riccio, Yenor, and Castaneda check back in. Davis and Bonner will stay out on the floor to round out the 5 for the Tars. Riccio hands off Bonner.
Ricio's got to take him to the basket there.
Here you go.
Jump stop in the lane, Castaneda double clutch, still blocked by Jones. Riccio took it away. Lead back up to 4 for the Tars. Riccio's been quiet on the offensive end. He scored the first 2 points for the Tars, and that's his only 2 points since. Riccio manning the middle of that zone, cuts off Hansen, takes a blocking foul. Hansen went up with the left hand. He's going to have a chance to convert this and one.
Riccio in a lot of disbelief with the call, but I think the only reason that's a charge is because he was inside that semicircle underneath. Seems as if his heels were just inside there, and they'll get you 10 times out of 10 on that.
Had the feet planted, but just in the wrong spot. Leads to Hansen. Chance to draw this lead closer than the 2 it is right now. Hansen up and good on his free throw. It's a 1-point lead. 12 minutes remaining in the second half. Worden Arena. Adrian Donnelly joined by Mike Warren and Dan Patrick. Tyler Bronski is handling the sideline duties for us. Rollins looking to snap this 4-game losing streak. They're looking for their first win of 2019. And they're looking to do it against the number 22 team in the nation.
I think Riccio might have heard me after that last possession he had. Took his man to the basket there, draws the foul. And that's what they need. Rollins has to continue to get to the free throw line. Not a great free throw shooting team, but you got to get this Mocs team into foul trouble and make them dig into their bench.
They are in the bonus already. That's the second foul called on Kai Cleary, but the 7th foul for the Mocs team already. So Rollins will be shooting at least 1-1 for the remaining better part of the 12 minutes in the second half. Dan, after observing what you did in the first half, you made mention to Brett Hansen and his scoring abilities for the Mocs. Who stands out for Rollins, and who do you think could get them over this hump of breaking this losing streak?
I like Yenor. I thought that he has a lot of talent. I don't know if it's normal for him to have these kind of bursts and then he doesn't play much, but he was 5 for 6 from the floor in the first half. And I just liked what I saw from him. And then all of a sudden you come out. But I think this is what Coach is looking for. It's been inconsistent. You know, different lineups that he started. So trying to find that consistency, that's been hard for him this year. There's a reason why they're on a 4-game losing streak. He's still searching.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Dan. I mean, that's been the one thing that we hammered on in the pregame was the amount of consistency that this team has lacked all year long, and the one consistent piece has been Hutton Yenor. You know what you're going to get from him every night.
Rollins has not celebrated a victory since December 29th when they won at St. Leo. They have yet to win a conference game at home here at Worden Arena. And a free throw by Riccio pushes the lead up to 3. And by all intents and purposes, increases their chance of winning this game.
Man, this game really does have the true rivalry feel to it. I mean, the crowd's into it. Oh, what a steal.
Walker Davis jumps the passing lane. The lead stretches to 5.
Rollins going into that full court press. Looks like an extended 2-2-1 zone.
They drop back into a 2-1-2 zone. Riccio manning the middle. Extending far. A little bit of a hybrid, might be a 3-2. But Riccio all over the place, very active in the middle. Bonner D'ing up, Hansen forces him to pass out. Marello from the wing takes a step in. And with the shot clock running down, Ben Marello is able to convert over the hands of Eric Castaneda.
That's good defense from Castaneda, just better offense from Marello, rising up and finishing over the defender.
Got a good looking jump shot.
Good pump fake too, respectable.
Yenor drives, passes to Castaneda, wide open top of the key, way left. Riccio, the offensive rebound. Parker Davis is going to drive. Floats up in the lane. Slinky Jones closed in on him. Davis able to float it over the outstretched hand.
Parker Davis providing some offensive boost off of the bench for this Rollins team. It's much needed.
Davis started the first 13 games of this Tar season, but the last 4 he's found himself coming off the bench for Tom Klusman, as Riccio and Castaneda have found themselves inserted in the starting lineup. Hansen's 3 is off, and Unor elevates for the rebound.
Rollins has to take control of the pace of the game here. They got to start to assert themselves in the glass. We saw last possession keeping that possession alive with an offensive rebound. Keep attacking inside.
Bonner pump fakes, gets it up and over. Jacoby Bonner starting to heat up in the second half. He's in double digits. The lead up to 7 for the Tars. They're looking to pull away. Kai Cleary for 3. Ends the run for Rollins. Pushes the lead back to 4. Florida Southern not going away. Under 10 minutes left in the second half. Adrian Donnelly, Mike Warren, Dan Patrick, Tyler Baronski.
The vision. Look at the vision from Unor.
Bonner good for 3. He's not a big three-point shooter, but it's a huge 3 for the Tars. Lead back up to 7.
Just like in that first half, you get your guard in the middle of the defense, they suffocate, and you're going to have open shooters out on the perimeter.
Bonner shooting 45% from 3. He doesn't take many of them. Big battle above the rim for that offensive rebound. Riccio comes away with it.
There's Brett Hansen fighting for the Mocs on the boards.
Unor, a strong take and another no call.
No blood, no foul.
Connor McKim sets to check back in for Unor.
Got to get him a breather. He's going to be important for this team down the stretch.
I don't know if Unor took a bump there, but there wasn't many minutes that he had come back in from the point that he checked in. So kind of like what Dan said, a player who had 15 points led the way for the Tars in the first half is still fighting for minutes come halftime. Kai Cleary and Ben Marello converged on each other as teammates, and neither one of them came away with the rebound. It'll stay with Rollins. 14 seconds left on the shot clock.
This is where I'd be aware of Florida Southern fatiguing, and you have to take advantage of that. You have to force them into making some desperate defensive moves. You need some fouls. Nice move.
No better way to do that than by attacking the basket. And Jacoby Bonner, one of the best at doing so on this team. He cashes in for 2.
Bonner scored the last 4 for the Tars, pushes the lead back to 9. As Dan mentioned, the short bench for the Mocs. We've already seen 2 players already come off the bench from Mike Donnelly's team that didn't even play in their last game. Bonner contested the shot. Hansen still able to get it up and over him. Another 3-point opportunity for Brett Hansen.
He has an ability to get to the hoop. He's not a very good outside shooter. I don't like those shots, but man, when he's inside from the lane, the circle inside, he is so dangerous because he's a good passer and has the athleticism to get it to the hoop.
16 points for Brett Hansen on 6 of 12 shooting. He came in averaging 17 points per game, the second leading scorer for the Mocs. Misses his free throw and misses his average, but 8:17 left to play.
Yeah, Hansen's one of those scorers. He's not a shooter, he's a scorer.
Slasher. Davis got caught up in the air. McKim had to save it. Florida Southern pushes quick the other way. Relaford for 3. Davis rebounds, finds McKim up ahead. McKim wisely slows it down, waits for numbers.
Good decision by McKim to back it out. Get something smart here.
Oh.
You didn't like that call, Dan?
You don't have to make that pick. That pick's not leading to anything. It's too far out. So make it clean or don't make it.
Castaneda called on the moving screen as D'Amberville tried to fight through it. 7:44 remaining in the second half. It's a 66-59 lead for Rollins. Media timeout. 7-point lead. Rollins good on 4 of their last 5 field goals. as these teams talk it over of what their strategy is going to be the last couple seconds.
You know, the one thing that has been displayed in this second half has been the overall aggressiveness from both teams. We're seeing the Tars starting to attack more inside.
I feel embarrassed
penetrate.
here with the headset on as Sean McDonough just walked by. So one of the great broadcasters in our business, and I feel a little embarrassed I've got a headset on. I went to give him the headset for some reason. I was like, you take this. You know what you're doing with this.
Do you think he wanted it? He
It
reached
felt
for
like
it a little bit, right?
It felt like Sean wanted a Bigfoot, me here in my house.
Our house.
The building that I built, I think. I just did the addition. I didn't build the whole building there.
With your bricks from the free throw shooting contest.
Once again, 4 of 5 from the line. Your stat guy should be fired.
Just one brick.
We're all students here. People make mistakes. I was handed wrong numbers. And Dan did not shoot 2 of 5. He shot 4 of 5.
You know, we've got a saying, us students at Full Sail, well, I'm sure you'll come accustomed to this, but when in doubt, just blame Burnsy.
Chris Burns, our illustrious statistician today. He's keeping track of our runs. Relaford elevates, rims out on another 3. Cleary tipped it away, but Parker Davis.
He's hurt.
Oh, no. That does not look good.
Came down awkwardly, I think, on someone else's foot.
Castaneda slow to get up. Lowe is over there to check on him as we stop play. Castaneda, the senior guard, 6'4", 175. Missed the first 5 games of the season with a groin injury. Looks to be staying in. Return to action for the Tars on November the 28th against Embry-Riddle, the start of conference play. He's been a mainstay of the starting lineup ever since.
I remember talking to him after that Embry-Riddle game, how tired he said he was. He said he just was not in game shape. He looks like a completely different player now as the season's progressed. And I'm glad he was able to walk that one off. Would have been a big loss for the Tars.
Well, that's a type of injury that if you sit down, it gets worse. And I think staying in there, and we'll see how long he can play and how well.
Castaneda remains on the floor. He's joined by Parker Davis, Daniel Lowe, Connor McKim, Trevor Riccio. It's the 5 Tars. His first shot post-injury is often rebounded by D'Amberville. Hanson, the long pass ahead, collects it in the corner. Marello in the corner. He's had a quiet second half, had 11 in the first, only 4 in the second.
Mock's looking a little stagnant.
They have him.
Jones, a couple pump fakes, no call, some contact. D'Amberville on the ground as he fell. Lowe takes the rebound, and Parker Davis pushes the other way. And a wise decision to pull up and let the Cavalry join him. Rollins, almost a turnover there, and leaves McKim open to step into a 3-pointer. Pushes the lead back up to double digits for the Tars.
And that's a big-time shot from Connor McKim, making the defense pay for trying to jump the passing route.
McKim only good on 2 of his 9 shots from the field, but the 2 have been 3-pointers and big chances for the Tars. He has 9 points on the day.
You're good, let's go.
Did you see a little bit? Is there a bench warning being assigned here? Or?
Looks like Coach Mike Donnelly is just clarifying the call. Pass tipped out of bounds, or whether or not who was touched last, but it's going to be Rollins' ball. We're under 6 minutes here left at Warden Arena. Tars with a 10-point lead against the number 22 ranked team in the country.
And this is going to come down to execution for the Tars. On offense, they need to continue to attack inside.
Yenor back in, and his first shot hits back rim low, a big offensive rebound.
I'll tell you what, the amount of times that I've said Daniel Lowe has to start playing like a big man, today is the day that he's really done it. On the glass, playing that center position like he should, just exerting himself on both sides.
11 points and 8 rebounds for Lowe as he steps to the free throw line. He came in averaging close to 8 points and 5 rebounds per game, so a strong performance by the senior forward out of Oviedo, Florida. Local boy. Lowe manning the inside of the 2-3 zone for Rollins. Hansen cut off by Lowe as he steps up. Spin and dribble is picked up and it's rebounded. Marello inside.
Nice.
He's up and good.
Left hand.
Can't allow this Mocs team to get those second chance points, or you let them hang around in a game like this, they're going to make you pay. There's a reason they're nationally ranked.
17 points for Ben Marello. He averaged just about 9 per game. We mentioned he had a huge game Wednesday night in the Mocs victory over Eckerd. He had 27, 6 boards.
You notice on that last offensive possession, the only guy on Rollins boxing out was Parker Davis, the point guard.
Turnover by the Mocs. Rollins possesses with an 8-point lead. We're under 5 minutes. Davis drives, contact, and the basket for Parker Davis.
What a strong take from Parker Davis, getting the hoop and the arm. Seen him rise above here, just fights through the contact, swinging arm from Slinky Jones. And the ref's gonna get you on that. You swing that arm, more times than not, they're gonna call you for the hack.
Davis, 6 points off the bench. He's hit on all 3 of his shots, and he has a chance to push this lead to 11 if he converts his free throw for the Tars. Lowe takes a seat. Castaneda still in the game after what looked to be tweaked ankle several minutes ago.
This is the biggest lead for the Tars.
Can't let that guy be open. They've done a great job up until that moment on the perimeter against Marello, but you just can't let him have that open shot. Too good a shooter.
Marello's corner 3 cuts the lead to 7.
Seems like the zone never really got set on that defensive possession. There was no communication, and like you said, Dan, nobody closed out on the shooter. Just like in practice, he knocked it down.
Full timeout called on the floor by Tom Klusman. Rollins with 2 timeouts remaining. This 4:23 that's left in the half. Florida Southern only has 1 timeout. Reset the fouls for you. Florida Southern is 1 foul away from putting Rollins in the double bonus the rest of the way. They have 19 fouls. Rollins is in good shape with only 4 team fouls. E.J. D'Amberville has 4 fouls. 4 personal fouls for the Mocs. He's the only player with more than 3. So headed down the rest of the way, the Tars are in good shape in terms of timeouts and personal fouls. A 7-point lead over the number 22 team in the nation. And a good opportunity to end their 4-game losing streak and pick up what will be their first win in the 2019 calendar year.
The one thing I don't want to see from Rollins here is I don't want to have a quick shot from outside. Work the clock and work it to your advantage, and worst case scenario, take it to the hoop, you're in the bonus, and it feels like Florida Southern's just not the same. They don't have the same sort of energy that they had. They're tiring out.
Sticking to that game plan is going to be big for the Tars. Keep on going inside and keep on trying to get to that foul line. And like you said, be patient. There's no rush here. Got to be patient and be decisive.
Jones, Marello, and Hansen have played every minute of this game so far for the Mocs as they get a turnover out of the pressure. Hansen with a head of steam ahead. He's already had 2 and 1s, but rims out on his opportunity for that one. He'll go to the line for 2.
Here's a little bit of life back in the Mocs' favor here.
Brett Hansen, the junior guard out of Manchester, New Hampshire. 67.5% free throw shooter. He's good for his 17th point of the game. Came in averaging 17, and he had 17 on Wednesday night's victory as well. Seems to be his favorite number.
You know they're going to set up the press here on the make, so you got to be ready.
Lucky roll there. I think Rollins is thankful for that miss there. They don't want to see another press.
6-point lead for Rollins. They break the midcourt.
Got to look at the rim here. Nobody looking at the rim at all. So much passing way beyond the 3-point line. Getting to the middle of the floor.
8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Parker Davis handles the ball out on the wing. Finds McKim top of the key.
Oh my Lord.
Huge 3-pointer for Connor McKim. His 3rd of the game. Extends the lead back up to 9 for Rollins. We have 3.5 minutes remaining, and the Tars are looking to knock off their rival from Lakeland.
McKim had no other choice but to hoist it up. Shot clock running low.
Tough shot, Marello. Tougher rebound by Riccio. He's able to save the ball to Kim. And there's some jawing back and forth. Riccio and Marello.
It's a rivalry game, all right. Marello, the intensity out of this guy right now. I mean, he wants the ball back so bad. He slapped it out of McKim's hands. Doesn't agree with the call. He's got to watch out. He might get a technical himself.
Yeah, but Riccio's got to walk away from that too. You're up. They want to instigate. Walk away.
Completely agree. You got to know better. You can't let the emotions get the best of you, especially when you're the team that's winning and you have control of the game.
It's the third personal foul on Ben Marello. And the 10th team foul. Rollins will be double bonus the rest of the way. And Connor McKim, a 90% free throw shooter, knocks down the first, extends the lead back to double digits for the Tars.
And that's McKim's sixth free throw attempt right there. 5 of 6 from the line tonight.
We threw out the stat earlier that on games when Connor McKim averages more than 5 free throws, the Tars are undefeated. He's got 6 on the game. He's active and getting to the line. And the Tars are up 11 because of it. Slinky Jones, a hook shot, just rims out, but the foul is going to be called on Castaneda, battling inside. That's Castaneda's 4th personal foul. Only the 6th team foul for Rollins.
That was a little bit of a bailout call there for the Mocs. Official out at the three-point line making that call.
We've seen some drives to the basket where you could pick a player to call the foul on where nothing's whistled, and then we'll see a turnaround jumper like that with the foul called from midcourt.
And it's surprising with 3 officials that you don't have somebody with the correct angle.
Jones good on the first, the lead back to 10. Front rim on the second. Castaneda staying in with these 4 fouls.
Rollins really needs to slow it down and get their shot. Own the game, play it the way you want to play it.
Rollins spreading out the floor, trying to run something of this clock out. Castaneda was open, passes off to McKim. McKim good once again.
Feed the hot hand. You got to feed the hot hand.
Connor McKim, his 4th three-pointer of the half. Hansen, a wild hook shot.
If you're starting out playing this game or you want to be a good shooter, notice McKim at the end of his shot, he will follow through, a great follow through.
Holds his hand up there even for a couple seconds after the ball goes through. In those last couple of makes, we saw McKim's shoulders were square, the feet were under him, and the confidence. That's the biggest thing in a jump shot. You got to be confident when you're hoisting that thing up. If you don't have confidence, that ball's not going in the basket. I'll tell you that right now.
And those are contested threes as well, but great follow through.
A couple of them were almost some of those no, 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 yes type of shots.
Castaneda steps to the line after being fouled by Brett Hansen.
McKim with 10 of Rollins' last 12 points.
The junior guard starting to take over for Tom Klusman's team. 17 points for McKim. He's now the Tars' leading scorer. Inside, Castaneda's going to take one in the chest. It's an offensive foul called on D'Amberville. That is his 5th foul. He's going to be done for the rest of the day. And with the Tars up 15 with just a hair over 2 minutes remaining, you wonder if Florida Southern as a team is done for the day.
That's a veteran-type play from a veteran player. Eric Castaneda, the senior, realizing that their postmen are drawing that shoulder. They're backing in real hard with that shoulder. Just sets his feet and falls to the floor, gets his team the ball back in a big-time situation late in the game.
Zone press defense and a long pass ahead. Riccio, one-handed Odell Beckham Jr. catch.
Using every inch of that 6'7" frame.
When in doubt, throw it up to Riccio.
Or Daniel Lowe.
I've seen Riccio in practice. He has some pogo stick legs. I've seen him throw it down.
Oh, Parker Davis, slice and dice kid.
Davis getting to the basket. Foul called on Jones.
And Parker Davis realizing he's got the mismatch. Slinky Jones all the way out on him out there. He goes, okay, fine. You want to come play my game? I'm going to make you play my game. Let me break you down real quick. A couple crossovers left to right, and then takes it to his favorite left hand, trying to finish in amongst the trees.
He goes left all the time, and they've allowed him to go left, which is surprising when he's going to the hoop. And he's made the plays.
Davis good on the first. Florida Southern has not scored a field goal in almost 3 minutes of game time.
Davis has given the Tars a big boost off of the bench today. 3 for 3 from the field.
Mike Donnelly just subbed out Marello, Brett Hansen, and Slinky Jones, so his 3 starters who had played every minute of the game to this point. Looks like that the Mocs are waving the white flag on today's game.
And this is a big-time win if you're the Tars because, like we said earlier in the broadcast, 2-6 in conference play. A big-time rivalry game against Florida Southern. I know a lot of people outside looking in on the conference are thinking that there's no shot the Tars could win this game, but a lot of junior and senior leadership with the Tars, and it showed today. Castaneda made some big-time plays. Jacoby Bonner, Mr. Consistent on the offensive end. And we hear the subs getting called into the game and the crowd rising to their feet. Man, they've been waiting for a win quite some time. 4 straight losses. This is great for the Tars. What a big win.
This is Rollins' first home victory since December the 5th. I'm sorry, December the 5th against Warner.
And a 12-1 run to close out this game.
It's going to be the Tars' first conference win in Warden Arena on the 2018-2019 season. And for a team that's currently sitting 1 game out of even making the postseason playoffs, this is a must-win for the Tars. Admire with the shot clock running low, pulls his string on a 3. Admire, Davis, Christian Munson, Matej Susic, and Marcus Camacho will be the 5 Tars to finish out this game for the Tom Klusman. It's a 14-point lead. We're at about 30 seconds remaining.
Well, Dan, I got to say, it was a pleasure to share the broadcast booth with you. I had a lot of fun doing this, and it was great. All the activities earlier today and everything. I mean, you even taught us a couple of tips from the free throw line and beyond the arc even.
Well, I want to thank Rollins College for allowing us to do their games, broadcasting all of their sports. It's a real honor to be able to do that, and a great experience for these students at Full Sail University.
Definitely is. I know I enjoy doing these games. I know Adrian does as well, and that's a big, big-time win for the Tars.
Final buzzer in Warden Arena, an 83-69 victory for the Tars. A lot of scoring all around for the Rollins team today. 5 players in double figures for Tom Klusman's team, led by Connor McKim. 17 points, all of them in the second half. Only good on 4 of 11 shooting, but the 4 were some huge 3-pointers down the stretch. A big second half for Rollins. They put up 44 points in the second half alone. Adds up to a 14-point victory over the number 22 team in the nation and a Sunshine State Conference rival. Mike, Tyler Bronski is going to be down on the sideline with Tom Klusman.
Coach, congratulations. You break the losing streak and beat one of the top teams in the SSC. What did this win tell you about your team?
Well, we've been playing a little better, even though it hasn't shown up in the wins and losses. We're playing a little looser. We're playing hard. We're still making a lot of mistakes that this young team is going to make. But this game, we were able to overcome them. We shot well at the foul line. I thought that was a key, and we took care of the ball pretty good. So those are keys to us being successful.
And full crowd today for this rivalry game against Florida Southern. Dan Patrick in the house. What do you want your team to remember from this day?
Well, you know, I want them to cherish every game we play. You know, it's funny. 4 years goes awfully fast, and at my age, it's flown by. But these kids need to enjoy everything they do, every opportunity, and with a big crowd and us to play as well as we played, they'll have a good weekend.
Coach, congratulations. See you on Wednesday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tyler. As we look to wrap things up, along with Dan and Mike, thank you for everybody that was watching on the Tar Sports Network.
Well, that's amazing, though. 21 to 24 from the line. They were shooting 41% from the field in the first half. I think they got up to around 47%, 48% for the game. So that was impressive. That was an impressive turnaround and, winning the game from the free throw line, or certainly putting it away.
The free throw line was a key stat that we said for Rollins coming into today. They had only, in 3 out of the last 4 games, they had shot single digits in free throws as a team in their last 4 games, which results in a 4-game losing streak. So in order for them to get up to 24, that is a huge number. It's a key number for them. And it seems to be the difference maker and was a 14-point victory over a very skilled Florida Southern team.
The one thing that stands out to me was the guard play from Rollins today. They played aggressive. It was the first time in a while I've seen their guards consistently attacking inside. We know Jacoby Bonner loves to get his points inside the paint, but Connor McKim, he was the real catalyst down the stretch, and it started with his play in the first half. He showed that he was going to attack and penetrate and try to create for other guys. He continued to do it down the stretch, hitting some big shots and creating some shots for his teammates as well.
And you got 5 players in double figures. That always helps. So you make your free throws. They didn't allow Florida Southern into the bonus in the second half. I think the one thing that, Coach is going to be working on is loose ball drills. I thought their perimeter defense was pretty good. It was the second shot when it went up, and that's where they were making Rollins pay for it. So I'm going to guess there's a lot of boxing out drills coming up here. And having been part of those aren't any fun. Those aren't any fun at all.
We've got a couple highlights queued up, some key plays throughout this game that ended in the result that it did for the Tars. I'm sure that a couple Connor McKim plays will be in this, but Brett Hansen, Dan, you talked about him. You really liked his style of play, the lefty slasher. Not really known for his shooting, but he had 17 points, led the way for the Mocs. A couple easy layups that he got throughout the second half that really drew the score closer. The Tars led by as many as 14 in the second half, but McKim ended up being the difference maker. No points in the entire first half. Finished the game with 17, knocked down 4 huge three-pointers, a couple of them that you'll see right here. See some of that perfect Connor McKim shooting form.
Man, what a dunk from low. First of all, the vision from Castaneda to see his big man and the trust for him to go up and get it. That was just an insane play.
That low alley-oop drew a lot of momentum into the crowd. Rollins was only up 1 at the time. That put him up 3, and it really tried to extend the lead as well as the momentum. And then from then on out, Parker Davis with some huge threes down the stretch. Capped off the scoring for the Tars, which said 17 points for him. Only good on 4 of 11 of his shots, but 4 of 7 of them from downtown. Stepped into this one with just a couple of minutes left, and that really was the difference maker. Back-breaking threes for the Mocs.
And a couple of those were with the shot clock winding down, too. Those hurt even more when you think you played great defense, and then he stuck a couple of jumpers right in their face.
It leaves you asking yourself, what am I supposed to do? There's not much you can do. Good defense, sometimes there's just better offense. And the Tars definitely had better offense tonight, escaping 83-69, a staple win for the Tars after 4 straight losses, and an even bigger win because Florida Southern was coming off of 4 straight wins. And this is a nationally ranked team. We said it earlier. This is the type of win for Rollins that can really rejuvenate a team and can really get a team back on track. Hopefully this will lead to a nice little conference tournament run for them.
I don't want to be a buzzkill, but there's an asterisk at, with this score, with this game. When Florida Southern doesn't have their leading scorer, so yes, it is a win, but it's a win you should have had, and they were almost letting it get away from them. So they came back, they dominated early, and then they dominated late. But that in between, that's where Coach has got to shore that up. You've got to be more consistent than they've been.
A much-needed win for the Rollins Tars. Their record improves to 9-8 on the season, 3-6 in the conference. That was their first win of the 2019 calendar year. They end a 4-game losing streak. They will return to action next Wednesday at home here at Warden Arena. They will face off against Florida Tech, another very winnable game. Florida Tech coming in with a 1-7 conference record. Rollins with a key opportunity to get things going and get some momentum in the Florida Sunshine State Conference standings. Currently sitting in 9th place, 1 game out of the playoff picture. Rollins needs a little help along the way. They are at the halfway stretch of their conference schedule, and they got a big win against a very quality opponent. Leading scorer missing nonetheless. It's a victory in the record books for the Tars. 83-69 here at Warden Arena. For Mike Warren, Dan Patrick, and Tyler Bronski, I am Adrian Donnelly. Thank you for everybody watching at home on the Rollins Tar Sports Network. It was a great and exciting day at Warden Arena and a great victory for the Rollins College Tars. Thank you everybody for watching at home. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon.